Hey everyone, it's Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success Seminars and Ageless Anti-Aging for your brain, your body, and your future, coming to you live from Fairfield, Iowa. As my friend Janet Atwood would say, your favorite vacation spot. Merry almost Christmas and happy winter solstice. And speaking of it's really a tongue twister. Is it just me? Winter solstice. A couple of years ago, right around the winter solstice, I was teaching a class and somebody put in the chat, you guessed it, happy winter solstice. And although I knew it was the longest night and the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, and beginning the next day, there would be more and more and more light. I realized that I really didn't know why people celebrated the solstice, and I decided to look a little more deeply into the significance. And do you know that there was not one culture that celebrates the darkness, but every culture I looked into celebrates the returning of the light? I discovered that the Hopi Indians celebrate a festival they call Soil, where they welcome the Kachinas, the protective spirits from the mountains who arrive on the solstice day carrying torches of light. And in Persia, they celebrate the festival of Yalda, and that's viewed as the victory of light over dark and the birthday of the sun god Mitra. And in China, the winter solstice is a major holiday with celebrations dating back to the Han Dynasty, which was like 200 BC. And throughout China, people visit temples as the sun rises, and they could see the sunrise at these very special places in the temples. And they celebrate the returning of the strength of the positive young energy. So it's all about celebrating light. And here in the West, Christmas time is also referred to as the season of lights. We see lights on houses and lights on trees and lights in our churches and lights on our tables and lights in our hearts. And of course, the Christian faith celebrate the birth of the being of light, Jesus Christ on earth. And during the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah at this time, known as the Festival of Lights, Jewish people light the 8 candles on their menorahs, a new light each of the 8 days of Hanukkah, celebrating the miracle of having only enough oil for after the destruction of the temple, and there was only enough oil to burn for 1 day, and it miraculously burned for 8. And during Kwanzaa, which begins on December 26th, candles are lit for each of 7 nights, each night representing the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, which are like unity and purpose and faith. And I think that one of the reasons there is a lightness in the air at holiday time is that the collective consciousness in the world is focused on light. And light allows us to find our way in the darkness and out of the darkness. At this time in our planet, light is very much needed. And as we know, the more we put our attention on something, just by the power of our intention, it grows in the world. So I invite you to consciously use this time of year, and especially these holidays, which of course means holy days, to put the power of your attention on that which is filled with light. What is good in the world? And there's so much good. Instead of spending our holiday time with family and friends, taking the conversation from bad to worse, yes, wars, political divide, increase in natural disasters, and all those seeming insurmountable problems. Not that we're ignoring them or pretending they aren't happening. They are very, very real. But by us incessantly talking about them while not contributing to the solution, we're fueling them by the power of our intention, and we're increasing the darkness and we're increasing the fear in the world. Why not instead at the holiday table? Because you and I both know exactly what the conversation is going to be about. Instead, go around the table and each person can share something good that's happening in their own life, something that's filled with light that's happening in their own life, and then go around the table again and add something good that's happening in the world. Like I read a true story about a mother with 2 children and no money for Christmas dinner. This isn't a parable. This is a true story. No money for Christmas presents. And she and her children were walking down the street and she found a wallet just lying there overflowing with money. So she could have easily kept it. There was no one in sight, but instead she searched and searched for its owner, finally found him and gave the wallet back without a dollar missing. And her children asked her why she did that when no one would have ever known. And she said to them, God would have known, and you would have known. And if you can't think of anything good in the world, go on websites like CNN The Good Stuff. I love that website. Every day I just open it and I just smile and laugh at the incredible things that are happening in the world. Or another one of my favorites, The Optimist Daily, overflowing with good news. And as each person shares, they'll not only bring more light into their own life and the lives of the other people at your gathering, but the collective light will radiate out and contribute to more light in the world as a whole. And just like a forest to be green, each individual tree needs to be green. For the world to be filled with light, each individual must start with him or herself. So I'm going to end today's message with a story. And this is, I don't know if it's true or a parable, but I'm going to read it to you. Here it goes. There was an old man who was very poor and unhappy, and he heard that in a far-off land there was a shrine that had a very blessed, holy flame. And if you could light your own lamp with this flame and bring it back to your house, it would illuminate your house and all the family members with happiness and prosperity and good health. So he made the decision that he would go and find the shrine and he would light his lamp and bring it back to his house and to his village. So he walked for days and days and he found the shrine and he lit his lamp. And with great exhilaration, he began the trek of many days back to his home. When he was less than 1 day away from his home, he met a man who was homeless and shivering in the cold, who asked him if he could use the man's lamp to light a fire. The man was so afraid to open his lamp and expose it to the wind, but his heart told him to do it. So he lit a fire for the man without his flame going out and continued on his way home. And with less than half a day to go, there was a huge thunderstorm and the man's lamp was extinguished. Heartbroken, he knew he would never make it all the way back to the shrine. He was too old, and at that point, too tired and broken. And then he had the thought, but I could go back to find the homeless man with the fire. He's less than half a day's walk, which he did. And he lit his lamp and he brought the light home. And his life was then filled with light from that day going forward. So I'll leave it up to you to decide what was a real source of happiness for the rest of this man's days. Wishing you a day, a season, and a lifetime filled with light by being the light and spreading the light and sharing the light. Happy holidays and so much love to you.